Hello and welcome to the Trimingham Coastal Transition Plan 2026. My name's Sue Grime and I'm the Community Facilitator for the Coastwise project. The Shoreline Management Plan for Trimingham is no active intervention, which means that there won't be funding available to repair any defences. What we'll find in Trimingham is that at the moment the defences are starting to fail, but the cliff toe is still protected. But at the top of the cliff you'll find it's also eroding. It's eroding rapidly because of cliff water being a significant factor in the erosion there. So, so going forward, we're looking towards a more natural coastline in that location. So, what is coastal transition? So essentially it's becoming more prepared for the coastal erosion which is expected. It's about working together to plan ahead, because that's better than waiting for something to just happen randomly. Being prepared is much better for people. We want to move away from that reactive approach where erosion happens and it's a crisis situation compared to actually having a plan in place and people have already moved away before something might have happened at the coast. So a transition plan is a sort of start point for communities. So we have looked at everything that's happened before in this community. We've talked to people in our Coastwise Cafe events since January 24. We've been working with a small group, which was a subcommittee of the Parish Council in Trimingham for a number of years. And we've decided that we want to bring together all of the existing information that we know about historic coastal change and then look at the predictions for future current change and kind of think of try to bring together that information about what is at risk so that we can prepare for those changes. So these plans are developed together, so it's developed with the community and everyone has an opportunity to get involved and to have their say. The plan sets out possible actions that can be taken for the short, medium and long term, so we're looking at around sort of 5 years, the short term, mediums around the next 30 years and 8 years for the longer term. Also the plan will identify who's best placed to actually take those actions forward. So it could be the community itself, it could be infrastructure providers, it could be Coastwise, it could be coastal management team at North Norfolk District Council. So within the Trimingham plan, we have identified what's actually at risk, so what is in the risk zone in which period, whether it's a short or medium or long term. And it's important to remember that these are predictions based on the best sort of estimates and best models that we have at the moment. So we want to look at that. We want to look at the impact of those risks, so how are communities affected by those risks, and not just those people that are immediately at risk, but also people that might live further away from the edge of the cliff, but actually they will be impacted by changes in their village. So for example, a potential loss of the coast road could significantly affect lots of things about living in Trimingham. They include the work done so far, and they also point out which people we need to get involved, who we need to talk to, and the important thing about these is they are designed to evolve. So this is not a finished plan. The plan will never be finished. It's an evolving plan which adapts to community need as time goes forward. So it could be triggered, action could be triggered by time, or it could be an event at the coast. Orange is identifying properties and other assets that are at risk in the medium term, so up to 2055. And then the yellow buildings and assets are at risk up to 2105. So what have we been doing so far in Trimingham? We've been working with a group and we've been looking at cliff water. So cliff water is a real significant factor within Trimingham, which is affecting, causing cliff slips, and this is going to be resulting in a lot of potential future losses there. So we had an investigation into cliff water to find out what the impact of that is, where is the water, what's it doing, what's likely to happen, and we used that to kind of come up with some options for the plan going forward. So we're thinking about some exploration of nature-based solutions, so things like restoring ghost ponds, maintaining existing ponds, maybe planting some buffer strips, and sort of rerouting drainage as well. All of these factors together can help us to better manage the cliff water. So we're also looking at the drainage and sewerage in the village as well, because a lot of water isn't going into main drains, it's actually going possibly into soakaways, which again, that water will end up percolating through the cliff and potentially, speeding up the erosion rate. We've had a look at the coast road, we've had a traffic survey done there, and also looking at potential new routes for a road or some sort of emergency plans, short-term alternative routes that could be explored later subject to further funding. We're also working with owners with properties, specific properties that have been at risk, and we've been looking at new sites for housing. So since the plan was written, we've come up working with our small group in Trimingham, with the community, and we've come up with 6 priorities which we think we can already, we can start now and be getting on with. So the clifftop water management, we're starting in September with some pond restorations, which should be helpful. If anybody knows any other ponds that need restoring, then please do get in touch with us at Coastwise. So we're looking at the at-risk coast road, we're looking at local housing, so supporting homeowners, but also thinking about are there any sites for potential new housing where people could move into if they have to move away from the cliff edge. We're thinking about potentially a footpath down the cliff, so getting somebody to investigate if that might be possible. Drains and sewerage, and again whether the village might like a heritage project to digitally preserve their church, similar to what's happening in Haysborough. So what happens next? So the next step really is to think about who actually is going to take this plan forward, who wants to adopt the plan, who can make the decisions, who wants to actually be part of it going forward. So it needs to continue to evolve beyond our Coastwise funding. We've also got some CAP funding which takes us to 2029, but beyond that we're looking for communities to own these plans and take them forward themselves. So practical actions are sort of happening. They're from September, but there's a lot more to be done, and that's up to you. So if you want to stay involved, you can do attend our meetings and events. You can email us and join our Coastwise mailing list. You can also join the group if you'd like to. Everyone's welcome to join the group to contribute ideas. Keep up to date on our blog and our website as well.